Anarchy is the word I would use to describe the first platform movie. Absent of any authority or established rules to dictate how or what to eat, it was pretty much all-you-can-eat buffet. Whenever the platform reached your level, you have 2 minutes to shove as much food as you can down your hose. Speaking of holes, like the saying goes, desperate times calls for desperate measures. Is it against the rules if I shove the carrot or a sausage down my ass? Eat later? Technically speaking, the sausage is deep inside of me, which is what they want, for food to be inside someone and not outside. The only thing to worry about is the E. coli. While the Platform 1 represented total anarchy, its prequel, the Platform 2, represented absolute authoritarian rule under the unwritten rules of the Anointed One, Dagen Babi. You eat only what you chose. If you don't, the consequences are dire. Just imagine you chose a can of sardines and you are forced to eat that for your entire stay in the hole. It's a one-way ticket of getting scurvy. In order to beat this prison from hell, we must first understand its intended purpose. Why in the first place would you distribute food in that way, knowing fully well it won't reach far down to the lower levels? To my guess, this is some kind of fucked up experiment designed to see if the prisoners can come up with a system to better distribute the food. A system that will ensure everyone, or at least the vast majority, are fed. Probably there are cameras at each level, and several men in white coats are watching and learning, studying the prisoners like apes in a cage. It's either the government or some fucked up secret organization of rich people. Who else other than fat rich people enjoy watching poor people cannibalize each other in exchange for a diploma? Or it could be aliens trying to learn from us so that they too can implement the system that worked in the pit back on their own home planet. In the Platform 2, setting up the rules and establishing some form of authority was the first step in the right direction. At least the food reached as far as level 171, which still left about 324 people down below to cannibalize each other. However, in the end, the system inevitably collapsed on itself like a house of cards because it was highly ineffective for various reasons. Compliance was low because there were no positive incentives to the rules, only negative consequences. If you ate someone's pancake, they will pacify you by stripping you naked and sending you defenseless to the lower levels, or they will just cut your hand. And if you comply by the rules and only eat what you chose, chances are it won't be enough calories to survive, especially if you are there for more than 6 months. According to the numbers I pulled out of my ass, the basal metabolic rate for an average male adult is between 1500 to 2000 calories and 1200 to 1600 for females. Eating less than 1000 calories for months on end will cause your body to start eating itself, literally, starting with the stored fats all the way up to your muscles and tendons just to sustain your bodily functions such as brain and heartbeats. You might have entered as Lizzo, the big black independent woman, and by the time you're getting out, you'll be looking like Christian Bale from that movie, The Machinist. Your organs will start to fail one at a time until you shut down entirely. You will die a creeping, slow, painful death from nutrient deficiency. Sticking to the rules is bad, and also not sticking to the rules is also bad. So can we create a more efficient system that will ensure high compliance rates and the vast majority of people are properly fed? Yes, we can. I'll propose 2 solutions, one capitalistic in nature and the other socialist-like. Before I start with the capitalist approach, I do want to just get one thing out of the way. Many have pointed out that this arrangement is much like in the capitalist state where the rich percent get to enjoy much of the resources while the bottom 99% starve to death. While we may be born in different socio-economic hierarchy, in a capitalist economy, we have what we call a currency. We can use these pieces of paper with pictures on them to exchange for things like paying for child support for my 7 baby mamas so that I don't go to federal prison. However, as far as I'm concerned, this place has no currency whatsoever. Without this currency, there's no upward social mobility unless you kill someone. This system already in place wouldn't be classified as capitalistic, but instead anarchy at its best. In order to set up a capitalistic system which would minimize the loss of life and ensure the vast majority are fed, we have to set up a currency. In a capitalistic state, even those at the bottom have a chance at social mobility through various means, like selling coke to the ultra-wealthy. In many federal prisons, money is prohibited, hence cigarettes or ramen or post stamps act as a currency in the black market of the prison. They can be exchanged for things like tattooing, cleaning services, drugs, or hitman services. Just give the most deadly hitman a pack of cigarettes and your target will be shanked in the torso with a toothbrush. In order to give everyone here a fighting chance, we must first enforce a currency and create some form of mechanism to get people up. But what can we use as a currency in this hellhole? Well, the items we were told to bring in. Some people came in with surfboards, some books, and this guy had a fucking katana. I would have went in with an AK-47. Not only can we exchange these things, but we can buy ourselves a spot on the floor above. Let's say you are on level 200 and the guy at level 20 is bored and need an MP3 player, and you so happen to have one. Well, he can let you up on his level in exchange for your MP3 player and share a bed with him. Every night he will be blasting KSI's awful new song,
from the screen to the ring to the pen to the king.
And you will have a safe, secure place with enough food for at least a month. As we all know, the rich have poor taste and they like to have unnecessary shit. This is because everything they had ever wanted they already have. Every shoe, handbag or necklace they have. So life starts to become mundane. It's the same thing in the hall. Those from level 1 down to 20 have more than enough to eat. Food is no longer an immediate need. They are the rich of this place. Hence, these are the best people to trade with. If you took in something useless like a fucking surfboard, I can't help you much. You are doomed. I mean, who would take in a surfboard to a prison? If you are that guy and you don't have much to bargain with, you can always bargain yourself or your skills.
They took our jobs! Yeah, they're jobs!
We saw this in the Snowpiercer movie, where a violinist was fetched all the way from the lower tail of the train and taken to the front to play for a violin for the rich. Well, that's social mobility. I mean, isn't it what life is? You're doing stuff for people and they do the same for you. You scratch my balls and I'll scratch yours. If you are a doctor, a therapist, or a singer, someone might need you up on the upper floor. You can become someone's whore if you are hot and let them lick your toes or smear you with shit all over your body in exchange for food. Like those Instagram models in Dubai, basically for them it's money, but they eventually use that money for food or shoes or useless shit like a $20,000 necklace. I mean, you got pooped on. The least you can do with that money is use it wisely, like investing it with Uncle Sam. As a leader, your role is to enforce this system and protect both parties from each other. Basically, the role of any well-meaning government is to protect us from each other in exchange for a small fee called taxes. You too can take taxes by eating as much shit as you want, hence ensuring your survival. Secondly, the leader can set up some form of policy system to get people up and down. This system not only reduces the number of people below, it's also more stable and less likely to collapse on itself like the one food policy did. So in summary, this system of exchange will enable high compliance rates. Capitalism is an effective tool of eliminating poverty, and I believe it can work too in the whole. If the vast majority of prisoners are complying to the rules, punishing the few dissidents becomes easy. Of course, much like in the real world, if you don't have valuable skills, nothing of worth to exchange with, or you're not hot, you will starve. The second method I would like to touch on is the socialist-like. There's a joke that goes, dark humor is like food in Africa. Not everyone gets it. The food situation in the pits is similar to that of Africa. It's there, but it's not enough to go around, especially with so many levels. So the solution is to reduce the number of levels from 333 to less than 100. I remember growing up in an African village, instead of spreading the little food thin, they would just put it all in one bowl for everyone to feast. The situation is the same in the pit. We need to move people up and arrange them according to gender or age so that they can eat together instead of eating individually at each level. If my math is correct, from the looks of things, each level should hold at least 6 people, 3 on each side. If we have 6 people on each level, the number of levels will be reduced to 56 instead of 333. The idea is to make people eat together, and if the food isn't reaching level 56, we can keep moving people up. In Season 2, during the battle between the Anointed Ones and the Barbarians, there were at least 20 people on one level, giving us a clue that the levels can hold more than 6 people. Sure thing, the living conditions will be horrible. There will be occasional flooding of a toilet and hair in the sink, but it's a cost we have to pay in order to get everyone fed and alive. Hence, a leader's duty is to enforce this moving process. Going down is easy, but going up will be a challenge, especially if the people above don't cooperate. If the 2 systems I proposed don't work out, or you find yourself in anarchy, then fuck it, just start eating people. You might try to meditate and hold on for a month without food, hoping the next month you will wake up on a higher level. But to your surprise, you wake up even on a lower level, starving. In the face of depravity, people become monsters, and you have no choice but to also become one in order to survive.